the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm this close to finish all my reactions for this year, but we still have some countries to cover, and the first one on the list is Iceland. Their national final, Songvakepnnin, finished on March 12th, and they decided that their winner is actually a trio. Sigga, Beta and Elin will sing ElinMeðhækkandisól, which translates as With the Rising Sun. The song was composed and written by Lovisa Elizabeth Sigrunarsdóttir. I think that's right. Okay, nevertheless, last year or last 2 years, Iceland switched it up a little bit. I don't know what we're gonna get this year because 2019 was Haekkandi and then we had this funky, playful 80s song, so anything can happen now. Starting with reaction in 3, 2, 1. Okay, definitely different again. I'm getting a bit of country vibes here. Okay. I like this sound in the background. It's like a siren, like an alarm. Okay, so the staging is very simple. We have just the intimate lighting and that's pretty much all. This sounds very mature, very serious, you know. Oh, this sound is great. The background, I really like that. So they're not in line, but they're one in front of the other slightly. That's cool idea. I think, or maybe that was just the camera angle. I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter. It's a mood. Okay. Nice camera editing. Maybe this shot lasts for way too long. This should be much shorter. But as an idea, it's really good, but shorter. The harmonies are really good. There's no bum note. They're well synchronized. Okay. We've heard Icelandic song for Eurovision 2022 and now it is time to go through my 5 segments and dissect it a little bit, at least. Let's start with song and lyrics. So in front of us we have another slow, mellow ballad, which is kinda a trend for this year, I would say. But this one has slightly country tone to it. At least I'm getting that vibe, you know, that vintage rock music, in that rock ballad production. There's something in it. It doesn't sound as contemporary. It's not a new sound. That's what I wanted to say. I've heard it before, and the whole song is guitar based, and we have this constant beat in the background, which just changes when they transit from the verses to the chorus. But in general, the song is really simple, and about its mood, I would say it's serious. It's also a bit moody in places. Overall, it's calm, and as we have Portugal, this is very similar to the mood that it creates, at least to me. I would compare those two. Of course, there are differences in the sound, but they're very close to each other, I would say. Lyrics here, they're very poetic. So we have, I read the translation, and there is lots of nature metaphors mentioned, and the song in general, its general message is, I think, facing difficulties, and then the sun is presented as a metaphor for the better tomorrow. My favorite lyric is, in the dark winter the sun is rising, melts the ice of the heart so warm. That's mostly how this whole song is, so it's very much in between the feelings and the nature, what nature represents to people, how we interpret it, and then they are drawing parallels between thoughts, emotions, and those elements of nature. I think the lyrics are beautiful, and congratulations for writing the song. It's really, really nice. That leads us to the end of this part. Let's move on to the vocals. Here we have three singers presented as equals, as a trio, or as a group. Even though I get a feeling that the one in the middle is in charge, let's say that, because I noticed that she's singing the bridge while the other two are taking over the role of the backing vocalist. Harmonies between them are on point. They are very well synchronized. There is no bum note. Not one of them stands out much from the other two, and when they sing together it blends nicely, it sounds good. My only worry is that the song, as it is a low impact, and they're singing in this very calm, slow, meditative style, I'm not sure if it will be impactful enough, because usually that middle tempo type of a ballad can get lost in the competition with songs of different type, but we'll talk about that later. Right now, about the vocals, I have no objections here. I think this is a well-produced song with great vocalists that are in line with each other, who kind of work as a unit rather than three solo singers, and we had many songs like that when we have three singers. For example, Hurricane last year, but they all had their own, style, and they all had their solo part. Here, they're mostly singing all the time, all three of them, and that's a nice thing to notice, right? Let's see what we can conclude about this performance and choreography on stage. So, performance. Okay, let's start with the choreography, and let's say that choreography is non-existent. So they're not dancing, they don't have dancer, nothing really is happening on stage that you could say, oh, this is some movement that was intentional, unless if you count leg tapping as choreography. I don't. So I would say that there is no choreography here, and I can already say that there will not be choreography at Eurovision. I see this very similarly to this, so I don't expect any dancers or anything like that, so that we can cross out immediately. The performance, it was fitting the mood of the song. I think that you just want to, Again, I will compare this to Portugal, and hopefully nobody will take this the wrong way, but it's just that kind of a song that wants to evoke emotions, and it does not rely that much on the visual aspect or like doing things on stage rather than singing and feeling it. Um, in Portuguese performance, we have them sitting on the chair, they're standing because they're playing guitars, and that's basically the only difference for me. I feel that this performance follows the same suit, so it's rather simple. There will not be anything spectacular on stage, I assume, and I see this as a copy-paste from the national final. Maybe and hopefully they will do something with the staging to elevate it a little bit, but in general it's simple and it fits. But is it competitive? That's my question, and that's always the question that I have for such presentations, as I know that some of you really think that simple the better and less is more, and that all is a fair point, but how competitive that is against the big stagings, big productions, those amazing vocals. It's about personal taste here, and we will see. Let's say a few words about staging and styling. Let's start this part with the styling. So all three of them have different styling and different outfits. Is that intentional? Probably. But I also noticed that none of the three stylings is really something that you couldn't wear somewhere on the street. You have the Eurovision level of styling, and then you have something in the middle, and then you have basic, and this is something in the middle. So it's not really Eurovision style, but it's also not something that it's not this. They look nice, but I would like them to have something like similar, at least same colors. They can have different, models and different styles, but same color or the same vibe, because all these three are really different, and that's a bit it kind of clashes for me. Staging, while I like this type of stages that are dark, but also you have those lights around, and it's playful, it's charming. It can work. We've seen Barbara Pravi last year. That staging was just two white reflectors and that's all. So sometimes we have the tendency to overdo. We have a tendency to want something grandiose, fireworks in every performance and stuff. This works. This does work. But I ask you this, as I asked with Barbara as well and Portugal. Will this be impactful enough for people to recognize it? And will people connect with it? I'm not sure in that. I feel for Eurovision, they're just gonna add a few more things, but basically this is the package that we're getting, and I don't see much changes here. Personally, I have no issues with that, but it's a risk. When you're giving us less, it can be seen as less is more, or it could be seen as, oh, this is lackluster and boring. So it is a risk, but with the right running order, with the right circumstances, it could be really impactful, just as Barbara was last year. I'm not trying to compare the songs, I'm just trying to compare the simplicity of the staging, that sometimes simple staging equals good result if the package is complete. Okay, hopefully you got it. Let's get into the final part of the review, and that's whether Iceland can qualify for the grand final. Iceland performs in the second half of the first semi-final in spot 14, in between, let me check, Austria and Greece. At first I was conflicted, and I didn't know what to think of it. I'm still not sure, but I will try to verbalize it now. So Austria really stands out in this half, and it will come as an upbeat breeze of fresh air after Portugal, Croatia, Denmark. It's still kind of slow in the beginning, but then Austria will kick in with this pop feeling. And then we're getting back to Iceland and continuing with Greece. So I'm seeing a pattern here. Like, let's listen. Listen this. We have Portugal, Croatia, which are kind of slower, and then we have Denmark, which is in between. The first part is slow, the second part is banging. Then we have Austria that is banging, so that's a pair there. And then we have Iceland and Greece, which are again slower. So I think that this is a thoughtful running order. We can discuss that in some other video, who is done dirty, who's not, who's favored by the running order. But I want to say that in general, I feel that Iceland is in a good place in the running order. 14 is actually the most favorable number in the second half, if we're not counting spot 18 and 19 that have 100% qualification record almost, but you know that the closer and closer is different than everything in the middle. But 14 has the best qualification record out of all numbers, let's say 9 to 16. So that is a hope for Iceland. Talking about in general, do I think it's competitive enough to qualify? In the semi-final one, basically almost anything can qualify. And I'm saying that with, honestly, the only country that I would eliminate right away, and I'm sorry if any of you like it, but that's Bulgaria. I think that Bulgaria is the only country who has little to no chances of qualifying, but everything else is a fair game, and we're gonna see where that will lead us. Let's see the Eurovision scoreboard app to see how the song is received in the community. Well, Iceland is there somewhere on the verge of the Eurovision final. Yeah, I will say now, even if it qualifies, it will come 9th or 10th. I hardly can see it higher than that, but who knows? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Do you think that Iceland can qualify? Do you think it should qualify? And how do you feel about its place in the running order? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your opinion. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel. The next country on my list is Armenia. Welcome back, Armenia. Until the next video. Bye.